Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bob Dzienis from eXp Realty here in northern New Jersey in Bergen County, and she's back and better than ever. What's up, Jackie Romano from
I'm,
Realign Design? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful spring day. We're taping this in May of 2021. I have my window open. It's a little chilly
Me
in
too.
here, but yeah, it's a beautiful day here. Yeah, so what we wanted to talk about today, and I think this is a really relevant topic, especially now with the way that things have been going with the situation that we know that we've been going through the past year and a half, practically at this point. Real estate has been nuts, as we all know about in this whole situation. And conversations that I've been having with people have been about rentals and short-term rentals. So like if you're a seller, for instance, and you're looking to possibly just sell your home, some people are stuck. They're like, can I find a house somewhere else? Maybe I can't. And the discussion about rentals comes up. And why I wanted to have a conversation with you today was because you have some expertise in creating rentals as an investment opportunity from a real estate perspective, right? So,
Yes.
so not just from a short-term rental and what good sellers do, but just longer term investment opportunity. That's what I really was hoping to get into today. So, and I know you got the expertise, so I'm psyched about this topic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. This is a super exciting topic right now. The market is really hot. When you think short-term rentals or vacation properties, the first thing you usually think about is Airbnb. Like
Yeah.
Airbnb is like the Kleenex of tissues, right? It's just synonymous with,
Right.
what it is. Airbnb also has great resources too. If you're looking into this, they have great resources for hosts. So I highly recommend that. But there's also other platforms that do it too. There's VRBO and HomeAway and a few others too that do this. And how it kind of got started was it was an alternative to a hotel. It was usually a cheaper alternative to a hotel, people renting out a room or space in their home.
Right.
And it was usually less expensive than a hotel. It was usually whatever the host had, grandma's quilt, and old, furniture.
Yeah, you're
hand-me-down
just kind of plugging and playing stuff into a home, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you kind of got what you got.
Yeah.
But it has changed so much over the last few years and it has really been elevated. And I think it's just a super exciting time now because Airbnbs now offer more experiences. So it's definitely different than staying in a hotel. Not only do guests expect the same amenities that you get in a hotel, like the fancy soaps and the nice shampoo or locally sourced whatevers,
Right.
Food baskets and things like that, but they're also doing really cool properties now with these rentals. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But I think people are looking for these unique experiences that you can't get in a hotel.
So today what I wanted to do was really get into, and I'm going to do another video at some point to talk about if real estate investing is what people might, I have a lot of clients who are considering investment opportunities, and using rentals as an opportunity for investment in real estate. It's a good in. People house hack and they do other opportunities as well. That's going to be another video. But today, if we're sitting here and I want to just pull from you your experience and things that you've done in helping people kind of set up the whole process.
A good conversation to have is just talking about, are you a good potential host and can you leverage this to make some money as, some extra supplemental income?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that they probably can. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of things. I just want to read. I had to put my glasses on because I can't read without them. So I did want to get this correct because it's a stat and I'm not good with numbers. So according to this, Jay Macy is kind of like the guru of like investing and short-term rentals.
Okay.
According to him on his website, he says there's going to be a 62% increase in sales, which translates to about $132.5 billion by 2022 for the short-term rental market.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it is a hot market. It is something definitely worth looking into.
Could you just define what is a short-term rental, right? Like what exactly is it? And
so it's usually a stay within like less than a month. once you get past them, I mean, some of them are defined to like 6 months, but typically it's less than a month. So it could be a few days, it could be a weekend, it could even be a week or 2 weeks. So think short-term stays. One of the things that you definitely need to check out first and foremost is this allowed in your town?
Yeah.
Before you do anything.
Yeah, and
Because
I've been hearing stories. I think like certain towns, like Jersey City, for instance, here in New Jersey.
yep,
They
yeah,
used to allow it, and now there's some stipulations involved with it. So you really got to be diligent, whether it's going to be an Airbnb or some kind of a short-term rental.
it changes.
Yeah,
So, you know, you could say Jersey City does not allow it today, or it does allow it today. It could change,
yeah.
you know, within the next few, you know, it's constantly changing.
So that's probably the best advice, right? Talk to your town first.
Talk to your town first before
Yeah.
you buy anything or look
Yeah.
into anything, and make sure
Yeah.
that you can. One of the clients we're working with now is looking for investment properties, like truly vacation homes in like the Poconos, Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
And Pennsylvania has a lot of HOA fees, like
Mhm.
communities,
Yeah,
and some allow them, some don't.
yeah. Their
Depends on the
bylaws
town.
might not allow it, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely something that you should look into before you
Yeah.
even consider buying something.
No, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about location and demand,
Yeah.
right? So I know from my perspective in talking with clients, whether they were a seller, but also a buyer, and we could share some examples, but sellers have thought, I don't know, like, if I sell my house, where am I going to go? I don't know if I can purchase a house in Florida, who knows? And sometimes there are short-term rentals that are down there, and maybe it's even a longer-term rental, but that's another story. So, but even buyers who are coming here, there might be opportunity from that perspective. I was telling you before we started, I was working with a buyer from Houston who was looking to come here to New Jersey. And so she, we talked about, if you can't get the house at the price because it's so crazy right now with the market, maybe we look at a rental, because your husband, we're so close to New York City, he's got to commute into New York City. How do you know you're going to like Montclair? Or how do you know you're going to like Oakland, for instance? You don't really know until you experience and come here. But that's where rentals really can come into play. And if you're an owner, that can really help you from an investment standpoint, right?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
location
So
is
on
key.
the two sides of that is, as a renter, when you come here, and we had a lot of this in the last years, people from New York were coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to live in the suburbs. Well, there's a big difference between the towns. And Bob, you've done many videos on the different towns, so there's different flavors to different towns.
Absolutely.
And how do you know if you're going to like them? Getting a short-term rental is a great opportunity to really kind of live like a local and see if you do like the neighborhood, if you like the town. So, and we are, close to the city. So for people still having to commute in, we're close to the beaches, we're close to the mountains. So when I first started this, I was thinking I'm going to have to, do my, if I'm doing any setups with working with clients, it's going to have to be, Catskills and Poconos. We live in Bergen County. There's no, that is absolutely not true. So, just because we're not, immediate access to the city, or we're not a beach town, there's plenty of people here who would like to do the rentals because of people coming out to see if they want to live here, people coming out to visit friends and family who don't, maybe can't stay at the house or don't want to stay at their house. They can do a short-term rental. Colleges, I talk about, if you're near a college place, that's a good opportunity for a short-term rental. Not that you're renting it out to the college kids, but the families who are coming to visit would want to do a short-term rental.
Sorry, the local hotels around colleges, they book up, especially around graduation time. So you need alternative accommodations, right? So it could be a good opportunity.
Hospitals, people who, fly in to, Hackensack Hospital, Valley Hospital, families sometimes stay there. That's another good opportunity for a short-term rental. Visiting nurses, that was another one that was big this past year.
I had a client recently, they just got a job at Englewood, at the hospital in Englewood. And they actually stayed in a short-term rental for 2 weeks. To make sure that, because they were kind of exploring not just Englewood, but another hospital as well. And they used that as the perfect opportunity to just get a feel for things while they were in this area. And they wound up renting. They didn't buy, they rented a house for a year. So, it really could be a great solution. All right. So someone who might be interested, they're thinking about possibly getting into a short-term rental opportunity, right? From an investment standpoint, and kind of setting this up as a business itself. for themselves, it could be a great income stream. It gets you into the real estate market, not just owning a home, but it could be this other income stream as well.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about what could actually make some good rental property.
Of course, there's your own home. So whether that is, some people are snowbirds where they kind of leave the area and go down south or out west or whatever for months at a time. That would be a good opportunity. You could rent out your home while you're not in it for, a few months during that time and
Right.
kind of be making money off of it. You have like a separate entranceway for like a basement apartment or a basement space, or even rooms in your own house if you're comfortable with that. I had a client who did that, and she was right across the bridge in Tappan Zee. She rented out, it was one floor of her home, and she was booked completely. I was surprised because I'm like, it's in the middle of your home. Like, but,
what's there?
She got a lot of foreign people coming in to do the Sleepy Hollow tours. And she was booked all through the fall.
Right, she's right near it, right? You had that whole pumpkin thing,
just right over the bridge.
that display that they have there. It's hugely popular.
So you could do space within your own home. Another option is converting a garage. I've seen this done too, where you obviously have to insulate and convert it and have the water and everything else, but garage space could also make, these don't have to be
great,
big
like a little
spaces.
Studio of some sort, right? It could be a little studio.
Sheds. Another one, people are converting sheds into like living space.
So like you said, though, there are certain requirements, right? So I'm sure you have to go through the process of getting it inspected, and you have to work with the town, of course, right? You can't just throw somebody in a shed.
No.
Not without getting the lawnmower.
It's not a punishment.
Exactly. So there's certain requirements, obviously, you'd have to follow. Yeah.
If you could have those structures, if permits and things like that, that's, you got to do your due diligence. That's the bottom line on that. For people who have bigger lots, and probably not Bergen County, people are putting RVs on them. People are putting tiny homes on them.
Yeah.
People are putting yurts. There's the converted containers, like the shipping containers there's companies that do this, that convert those shipping containers into living spaces.
Wow.
And also train cars.
Do they come with the bar card too?
You could, I mean,
that's my favorite car on a train.
These alternative kind of properties are doing really well.
No, I think, in our area, there's a lot of opportunity with New York City. You might want to experiment with towns and see what they're all about, right? People that need to commute. There are attractions obviously nearby, right? I mean, depending on seasonal things as well. So, but obviously, that's probably the biggest thing is to consider what towns, right? The shore area by, south of us, but I mean, anywhere there's got to be short-term rental opportunities from the big states, the touristy areas, to maybe even some of the off the beaten path places as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have Ramapo Mountains right here. A lot of hikers come from all over to use these mountains.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have colleges around us. Warwick is not that far. I know a lot of rentals are going on over there because they don't have hotels there necessarily. And I think there's a few, but they have tons of like farms and wineries and seasonal events, and people from the city come out and want to stay there.
So let's talk about, how do people get started? If this is something they wanted to get into, what would be kind of your recommendation if somebody said, this is an area I want to get into?
Yeah, you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
Because again, the first thing I would find out is the area, if it allows it. And then, is it your home? Is it a property that you're buying that's going to be, separate? Just do your homework on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So work with your town, get to the town, find out what the requirements are, all of those.
Yeah. And then, also you have to do your due diligence on, how much is, if you're putting money out, if it's not in your own home, how much money are you putting out versus how much money can you charge for the property that you're going to set up. So, numbers, again, not my thing, but it's something that you need to kind of look into to figure out, like operating costs and maintenance. If you're going to put money into, if it needs renovations or if it needs setup, all those things are things you have to consider. And they're going to be different, for each person and each property. you have to, when you're setting up a property, look into, the safety measures. Is it going to be keyless entry? Is it going to be, how are you going to welcome your guests in? How are you going to register them? How are they going to communicate with you? There's a lot that goes into it. It's not just the one and done thing. You don't just toss the keys to someone and get money.
Right.
Right. You have to have systems set up in place.
It's kind of that end-to-end process to help set up the business and help it run, because it's a business at the end of the day.
It is absolutely a business. It is not just passive income. It's not a setup and just leave it. Because you are going to be having guests come and stay. So
you're
if
going to
they need something, you need to be
You're going to need
available.
insurance, right? You're going to definitely need insurance. There's liability that's involved there.
There is. And if it's out of your own home, you have to take out additional insurance too. So you're going to need to either manage it yourself or decide if you want to hire a management company. And there are companies out there or people out there who will manage your property for you. So that means any kind of communication with your clients, helping to check them in, check them out, dealing with the money situation, dealing with any emergencies or anything else that come up. So that's why it is a business. It's not a one and done thing. Just putting the listing out is not, the end all.
So my husband and I, we stayed out in Sonoma, California, and they were doing a VRBO, short-term rental. And this was a beautiful home, very California, on top of the mountain, overlooked the Sonoma Valley. It was gorgeous, right? And I found it online, like, is this real? Is this real? But she had her own website. She had everything in VRBO. She had the whole process lined out, all that kind of thing. And she had a management company that was involved in the whole process and stuff. It was phenomenal, right? I think we've stayed there when I've been to San Francisco and Napa and Sonoma 3 times. Like, just, they created such a great experience that I'm like, I got to come back here, right? It's just, it was awesome, right? So if you can create that experience through your marketing and all of that, that just helps with reviews. It helps get more people, attract more people into the rental.
It is a brand. And you're creating a brand. So even if you only have the one property, you still want good reviews. You still want, people coming back and telling their friends. And, that's how you're going to make money off of it. Definitely a higher expectation from guests now. And, setting it up is super important. The details are super important. And that's where my business comes in. We are helping people set up these, rentals. And it's different than stage to sell, because people are using the bed, people are using the couch, they're going to be jumping on it, they're going to have kids on it or dogs or whatever you allow in your space. So setting it up is very different. People are actually going to be living in the space. So you want to make sure you remember all those details. Like,
I just remember this house in Sonoma, they actually had a checklist. Right? Like, it was a checklist that they had out. These are all the items you could expect to see here. If you don't have any of these items, let us know. We'll make sure that you get them. Like, they had it all thought out. I'm like, I want to live here forever. And I loved it.
And that's why I'm excited about this part of my business and offering the service. Is it's elevating the Airbnb, it's elevating short-term rentals, and making people's experiences great.
They are competing against each other, whether you realize it or not. There are multiple, that are out there. They are just like houses. They're competing against each other. And you're going to see that first photo and be like, oh, that looks pretty. And you're going to go down that path, just like we do on Zillow with my buyers, right?
We did a video on, the importance of good MLS photos. This applies to short-term rentals as well, because people most of the time never see it until they actually book it. That's how you get your bookings, is through the photos.
Cool. So, you know what? So, Jackie, these are some really great tips. And like I said, I think that there's opportunity for other videos. Like I said, I'm going to be doing something on house hacking and how to kind of set that up if you're looking into rental and investment and that kind of stuff. But I think we have some other topics down the road. So
definitely.
I'm excited about. So one thing I want to mention to you guys is that Jackie, as always, provides a great freebie. And in this situation for this topic, she's got a hosting checklist. So basically what it is, it just gives an entire checklist if you are going to get into this and be a host for a property, a rental property, a short-term rental. It's a great checklist, gives a lot of ideas and tips for you. So go into the description. It will be down there for you. Jackie, as always, it's so fun talking to you.
It's great talking to you. I love this.
I appreciate it. I think this is a great topic.
I love helping people set up the space because every space is different. So it's a little bit different of an opportunity. And
Yeah.
the unique spaces are super cool to work with too. So people are doing themes, people are doing, bringing in a lot of the local culture.
Yeah.
So if they're known for certain things like the honey or the wine, we could bring that into the design and also,
That's exactly
part of
what
the
this house in California did. It was a local winery down the street. They had bottles of that wine and stuff. And I'm like, this is where I want to live for the rest of my life. All right, Jackie, as always, great talking to you. And
Until next time.
Yeah, until next time, everybody, thank you so much. And again, I'm Bob Dzienis with eXp Realty. And that's Jackie Romano with Realign Design. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.